Hey guys, this is Rick coming at you with Weed to No Basis, the podcast for all things cannabis business related. Are you an entrepreneur? Have something you wanted to create, something you wanted to bring to life in the cannabis industry? Maybe you've always wanted to partake in one of the biggest industries in modern day history. This is the podcast to listen to. All right guys, we're back and you know the deal. We're filming this series of episodes here in the basement of Hemp Cube. And we're gonna dive right into it this time. We're back with Scott, and you guys have already heard Scott's story of how he started, how he built, and what he does now, especially for cannabis entrepreneurs. And that was in his kind of his story episode. We're talking now about the 4 quarters, basically dividing your first year as a business owner, cannabis startup entrepreneur, and what it is you're going to do to achieve success. We've talked about how the pray and spray mentality doesn't work. We've talked about mindset, and how oftentimes it is possible you may enter a session like this and realize you don't want to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. So go back and listen to number 1. In session 2, guys, we talked about strategic selling, marketing, adopting a focus, accountability, priority management system, and then retooling your 90-day plan. So now here we are, we're going to talk about session 3. We're now 90 days further down the road. So to give you guys context, if this was January 1, then January, February, March, April would be session 2, April, May, June, July, now mid-year, 3rd quarter, we're coming back to the table and you're gonna lead a session, and we're talking about leadership, not doer-ship. We're gonna talk about effectively managing and challenging your greatest asset, and I'm gonna let you talk about what that is. And then of course, the plan. So let's talk about creating the excel at leadership, not doership. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, and as we were talking earlier in one of the other episodes, you know, I was a deal junkie. I am a recovering deal junkie. So, you know, it was do deals, make money, enjoy life in that order, right? And I was doing it. Doing it every day, you know, just thinking somehow doing more of it was going to make it better. And literally, as I talked about, I almost, you know, put myself in the hospital from a stress, anxiety, you know, overworked, overloaded situation. So what you really need to learn, and this is why we get into this already in quarter 3, because you don't wait till year 2 to get into this, is you need to start having the mindset of how do I lead the company? How do I coach others to do it versus doing it all myself? Now this is baby steps. You're not going to immediately be able to go run a multi-million or billion-dollar company, but we're going to go through basic, you know, blocking and tackling type items of how to become a better leader, how to understand that you need to know when to step out of the way and let your team move forward, and how even, quite honestly, for some of the people, just to even hire those key people and bring them onto the team. And then how to set them up for success so that, yeah, you got somebody on payroll and they're sitting at a desk, but you're still in there doing it because they're not capable of doing it yet, usually because you haven't let them do it or you haven't trained them correctly.
Gotcha. Is it safe to say that when one starts to learn and grasp some of these tactics of leadership, not doership, that it not only impacts the organization, whether there's 1 employee or 10, but it also impacts how the outside perceives the organization?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what you're gonna notice just from going through these exercises is not only your mindset changes, the way you're looking at things and the way you're starting your day and the way you're planning your week and the way you're driving towards your 1-year plan, but when you're having interactions with other people, the kind of conversations you're having with them. We talked earlier about moving from an employee to an owner mindset. This really will start getting you to think more as an owner and how to build a business versus just, well, what's my vacation and how much am I making an hour, which is more of an employee mindset.
Yeah, interesting. You know, one of the things as you're talking, I'm hearing you. I'm also thinking that I've heard from a lot of folks out there. This is a general statement that the industry is becoming saturated, and we've done an episode about how saturation is a mindset. So, could going through this curriculum, these trainings, having this plan, is this possible that this is a differentiator? This is what will separate the average company from the great company, just having this type of framework and plan?
Oh, absolutely. So I haven't said this yet, but what I facilitate and what I coach with is the exact same things I used in my business. So I went from 0 to 170 in 10 years. I had tons of competition, a lot of people way bigger than me in the beginning. And I use the exact same system that we're using here to get my team and my company where it was. And for the last 4 years, work less than 40 hours a year while doing it. So it's doable. I have tons of clients, dozens of clients, I'd say hundreds, but it's probably just around 150 clients who I've helped do this. So if you take action, right? You gotta be coachable and you gotta take action. If you take action and put these things in place, it definitely is a differentiator. Separates the wheat from the chaff, as they say.
Yeah, there's a weed word again. we can't get away from these terms, guys. It's just, can't do it. So effectively manage and challenge your greatest asset, your people. So that not only refers to maybe your literal employees, but your customers, your clients, your constituents, your shareholders.
Correct. As you know, Rick, if it wasn't for employees and customers, business would be easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we talk about people, it's everybody, right? It's all the people you're coming in contact with: your vendors, your suppliers, your customers, your internal employees, your resources, your coaches, your bank. I mean, anybody and everybody you're talking to, and how to use that as a leverage tool to build your business quicker. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. That's another thing I haven't brought up yet. Business is pretty straightforward, right? There's only two things business does, right? You either buy something or you sell something. That's business.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That is it. You're buying something or you're selling something. These tools will help you get better at both of those. And the wild card, which is people, learn how to integrate and work and leverage the talents of the people you're with. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if you just sit down and go through these exercises, and I take you through this, you're going to come up with lists of ways to have these conversations with people without feeling like, you know, you're a used car salesman or you're trying to get something from them. You're just having a normal conversation, a business conversation, so that you both can rise your business together.
Love it. Love it. So we're in quarter three.
Yep.
We've now gone through quarter one. We've got a better sense of a better grasp of our company, our business, what we're creating. We've gone through quarter two, talked about strategic selling, some marketing things, very high level. We've learned about what gets measured gets done, incredibly powerful, guys. And then we begin to tweak our plan. So what is the plan now? What do we do with the plan in quarter three?
So quarter three, we should now be starting to see the finish line, so to speak. So on the measurable wins that you've created, those will be annual measurable wins in most cases. We may have to chunk some people down into 6-month measurable wins depending on where their business is. And back to stage versus age again, I don't have a crystal ball, I don't know for sure. But ideally you have an annual measurable win, a goal that you're going to achieve over that year. So we're now at the end of quarter three. You should really be having a good idea if you're going to hit that quarter four number or not. And if not, we can tweak it, that's fine. What I love, because it happens a lot, is people have already hit the number. They thought they'd hit it in a year, they hit it in 9 months. So we'll take a good look at that measurable win and make sure that we're driving towards those numbers, because ultimately, we're back to the beginning again. You're driving towards your vision milestone, which then creates your measurable wins for your priorities. So we don't want to lose track of that vision milestone. We don't want to get you off course year one on a 3-year plan. So really making sure we're focusing on those measurable wins going into quarter four, because when you come back out of quarter four, that's it. Next quarter, we're going to create a new 1-year plan.
Gotcha. So let me reframe it a whole different way, because we've talked a lot about strategy and things. Maybe it's new to a lot of you, and that's okay. We all started there. We all began. So now that we're going to wrap up quarter three, guys, but I want you to think of this for those of you who are brand new, or you're considering entrepreneurship in the cannabis space, or you're in the middle of the fray. Think about your business as climbing Mount Everest. And what we're really talking is Everest. We're going to talk quarter four, which is the peak, and how we get there. So what we've talked about in base camp 1 is quarter one. What do we need? What do we need to build a foundation? How does our team look? Let's get a plan together. So quarter 2 then is, think of base camp 2. You're further up. Maybe you made a wrong turn. That's okay. We begin to course correct. We revise our plan. We add or subtract. We do these things. Quarter 3, now we're getting closer to the pinnacle. And again, guys, all of this is with a Sherpa. You have leaders, you have people who have done this before. You would never climb Everest alone if you have never climbed Everest before. So why would you do it in your business? So we're getting closer to the peak. It's okay to tweak the plan, but the mantra is stick to the plan, keep driving forward. We're going to talk in the next session, quarter 4. What does that mean? And then what happens beyond that? Because just when you believe you hit the pinnacle, guys, you see the next mountain. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate you jumping in here. Appreciate you listening in here. If you have any questions, comments, drop them in here. Hit us up on Instagram. By all means, guys, this is something that will propel your business to a level that you never expected before. If you're listening, guys, it's because you two on a We to Know basis. I'm pumped for session 4. Stay tuned. Peace. Peace. Let me redo that. I went the wrong way. That was a double peace. That was a total. Let's just keep this in there, guys. I have no idea where that came from, but this is like Mr. Spock times on steroids. Peace. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.